I did want to give y'all an update on the baby crow. Okay, so some of you, definitely not all of you, but some of you probably remember that I had found and taken in a sweet, adorable little baby crow that fell out of the nest a little bit too early, and he got caught underneath of a lilac root, and I guess he had he just had trouble standing up. There wasn't really anything wrong. He could hold on to my finger with his little crow hands, and he could flap his wings. He was eating, he was drinking, he was doing his little birdie thing. But I called Hope for Wildlife specifically because I had the confidence that they would be able to take care of him better than I could. Gonna be completely honest, I'm not so sure about that now, but so I just want to let you guys know that first, before I say anything, that I absolutely love crows. It's probably a little bit weird, but I really like crows. And one thing about baby crows specifically is that they need to eat every 10 minutes. I'm not sure how long the little guy had gone without eating while he was stuck under the tree root, so I immediately made sure that I got him food and water, and little dude just dug into that, took a 10-minute nap, woke up, ate again, flapped his little wings, chewed on my thumb, and went back to sleep. He was just the cutest little thing. And then Hope for Wildlife came to pick him up a couple of hours later. I'm not sure how long that it took them to get him up to the veterinarian. I tried to send him with food, and their immediate response, because I don't know how long it's going to take for them to get there, their immediate response from the volunteers was, "Oh, he will get food at the office." Well, this is a baby crow that we're talking about here. They need to eat every 10 minutes. And I tried to say that, and they didn't really let me speak long enough to say that. They just kept going on about this raven that they picked up, and I'm sitting there like, I don't care about the raven. I care about the condition that this baby crow is in. So volunteers that pick up the animals, I don't know if they actually know anything about them, but I think that is something that they need to be trained for, if, in my personal opinion, if they're going to be picking up the babies. Anyways, they came and picked him up, and they took him into the office, and I hadn't heard anything back about him. And so about a week after he went in, or not even a week after, a couple of days after he went in, I sent them an email asking about an update for his well-being and such, and what they sent me back was, "Hello, Cass. Thank you for helping this injured bird and getting it to us for care. The poor bird arrived in rough shape with severe injuries. Our medical team treated the bird right away, but unfortunately, despite their best efforts, the little one did not survive. We had wished for a better outcome. Thank you for still helping with this beautiful bird during this time of need. We truly appreciate it. Sincerely, the Hope for Wildlife team." Now, this doesn't make any sense to me at all, because he wasn't in that hard of shape. He was just having trouble standing. He was moving, he was eating. They would not let me bathe him before they came to get him so that I could give him a proper look over. The whole thing just seemed weird. And I mean, I understand if it was like an 11-year-old, but I'm a 24-year-old woman who does have experience with this type of thing, and I know a little bit about birds. So you would think, but anyway, and I do understand taking it to a vet first, but you would think that the volunteers that came to pick up the baby bird would have taken any kind of consideration into my input in any way, shape, or form. However, sadly, they didn't. The person who I spoke to on the phone understood that I was trying to help and that I do know a little bit, and blatantly said, I understand that it would probably be alright for you to keep care of the baby bird. However, we can't encourage that, as people do need to have a permit in order to, and I do get that. But I also feel like if I didn't let that sweet little baby bird get closed up into a tiny box and shoved into a car to be taken God knows where, he probably would have been healed up and in better condition by now. I have taken in other wild birds in the past because I didn't know before at any point that Hope for Wildlife actually took in birds. So I have taken in and nursed other wild birds back to health. I have had multiple avians in my care that were in far worse condition and ready to go back out into the wild within a couple of weeks, and this bird was perfectly fine. It just had like a little issue with standing upright, which could have easily been rectified, most likely. But the thing is that he was breathing properly, he was eating properly, he was holding on to my fingers with his feet. Therefore, it was most likely just a simple sprain, and he was having trouble sitting up. He was eating, he was drinking, he was trying to play, flapping his wings, biting my thumb, and snuggling. He was a very snuggly little bird. So, the fact that the extremely good health that this bird was actually in makes me think that the fact that it had little wormies on it, because God only knows how long it was on the ground. Honestly, I'm thinking that it was left too long without having food, without having the nutrients that it needs. I'm thinking that the people who took him to take him to the vet took too long and didn't make sure that he got food. And those little worms burrowed in and everything got worse because everything took too long. That is my personal assumption. I'm not going to say that they did not do their best, because obviously they did the best that they were able to do. But I am, however, saying that there was a lot more needed to be done a lot earlier in order for that little birdie to have been able to survive, and he needed a lot of intense one-on-one care. And I understand that I would have been able to provide that, and that Hope for Wildlife probably wouldn't have been able to stay with that sweet little birdie 24/7. And I get that. That is... So, I am not here to reprimand Hope for Wildlife. I know that they did their best, and I am grateful that they did the best that they could. I am saying that Hope for Wildlife definitely most likely needs some new volunteers who are able to travel to pick up the animals and drop them off, who know quite a bit about birds and know how to properly care for them, and they need more volunteers so that they can provide round-the-clock help for the little ones, for the little birds and the little critters, and even the grown-up critters that need more attention, because if they are not given the proper amount of care and attention at all times, sometimes the baby critters especially can have no chance. And that makes me very sad. And I'm not saying that this is exactly what happened. I'm saying that this is the assumption that I have. I am not saying that Hope for Wildlife in any way just ignores the animals and lets something happen. I am saying that they need more volunteers so that they are able to provide more around-the-clock care for the ones that are in slightly worse condition that are going to need a little bit more care, even if it is a minimal type of injury. But that minimal type of injury can cause a lot of larger problems in a small animal. Like, if they can't stand up properly, then how are, like, baby birds have to be upright to eat. He couldn't sit upright properly, so I made sure that every time he needed to eat, I was holding him upright and giving him his food. And that's how you take care of a baby bird that can't sit up. But nobody listens to me, so I should give up. Yeah, so I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. When I first found out about that, especially considering how good of condition the little bird was when he left here, and the fact that I was trying to do everything that I could, I literally broke down when I found out that that little bird wasn't okay. And it took me a little while after I even got the email telling me to even inform you guys, because I have not been fully able to talk about it without having an emotional breakdown myself. So I took a little bit longer than I expected. Honestly, I expected the little birdie to have been back about 4 or 5 days ago so that we could release him into the wild again, but I was not correct. Anyways, sorry about that, guys.